would be the time 2 days later to figure out how your frame has already expanded.
I think I consider myself a lifelong learner, so I've added that onto my frame. Also important thing, my PLN, so Professional Learning Network, trying to expand that here at the conference, meeting a lot of new people, and it's great, so hopefully that continues as I go back to Hong Kong. Growth I had on yesterday, I'm just looking for more perspective and inspiration on how to bring about more autonomous activities in my classroom to engage.
I consider myself a builder, but now I also see myself as a planner, and I work with emergent curriculum, so I'm a follower of my students. What shapes me, I also feel that feelings and emotions shape me a lot, so I added like a little strand, and I'm feeling enlightened, inspired, I'm questioning, and I'm eager for doing more research and finding more knowledge. Also the sharing and receiving that's been happening in the program, and family, students, colleagues, life experience.
I added to mine, I was feeling a little bit of guilt that a lot of people had families, so I put family. I also put, I added lifelong learner to what context am I here, and then I came to get inspired and meet new people, network.
To get from, to network and get ideas and growth as well, and then as to describe myself as a lifelong learner and thought-provoker.
Shapes us. I haven't added to the bottom of this yet, but I would say connections, because I made a powerful connection this afternoon to the new frame and the button and moving your frame and your perspective, and that directly ties in with what we're doing with teachers and children and professional
What
development.
I changed was actually what shapes me. I'm actually thinking of an actual shape now in a circle because of the connections that I've made to people that are in the same situation as me in this, but how my life is connecting everything that I do to other things. So I now see an actual circle.
Thought-provoker yesterday, and I wrote scrutinizer today because when I was in that visual thinking, he talked about changing that. I don't know that this was his point, but it's what I took. That I always have my students question, but I don't often ask them to scrutinize, and I think that brings an extra level of thinking and critical thinking specifically. And then I find that I'm also doing that because you can't possibly bring every single thing back, and so I'm scrutinizing those things that I can do quickly and those things that might come over time and those things that I'm going to just completely ignore for the moment. And
so to the things that shape what I see, I found kind of three through lines this week, three new ones, and this idea of helping kids develop a sense of self, helping kids develop a sense of ethical behavior, and then based on the experience in Bruno's the cultural role play this morning, the critical importance of helping kids connect at a very, very human level.
So I added change agent, so I'm hoping to go back and make a change. Supporter, because my colleagues will need support, and a bridger, bridge some of these ideas into applicable ways of change in classrooms. And then I added, what am I looking for here? I had inspiration, I added new vision, new paths, new resources, new opportunities, new paradigm, just newness. I just really am looking forward to making some changes based on my experience. And what shapes me, I also added family, because I felt a little guilt too. Reflection, I think just that deep thinking about what I just experienced, learning and perspectives.
We had a very long conversation over dinner last night, and so we decided to combine our frames actually, because we learned a lot about where the other one was coming from and used it as a way to kind of figure out a plan going forward. So we combined aspects of ourselves that we saw in common, like she wanted to teach for global awareness and context, and I have global context, that's how I see things. I want application, she researches, she understands, so she's got some of that stuff that I'm looking for. But then we had a lot of conversations, so I added post-it notes with our conversations, like don't sell the small stuff short. And then hope, frustration, and then hope again, and social justice equals education. She and I both felt very passionate about that.
And continuing communication makes change, and we have this wavelength, like a cycle, and we continue the cycle and that energy and wealth of knowledge.
Definitely a work in progress. I am very much in flux right now because I've been a teacher for 20 years, and this upcoming year is my first year as a principal. So I'm really trying to figure out how I'm going to bring all this back to the staff in addition to my new role, and have them take some ownership of it as well and really be receptive to it. So that's why this ball is sort of shifting around the frame right now, and I'm not sure where I am, but hopefully it'll all come together soon.
So I looked at my frame and I realized that the only thing that I really wanted to change on here is innovative doer, because in my job I have to be innovative and creative and find new ways to bring things to people and keep the same thing exciting continuously. And so I was thinking of just taking the word innovative off, because sometimes you just have to be a doer and it doesn't necessarily have to be innovative.
If I could, I would rip it all up and start again. But I'd start first by wrapping it in foil and yarn and like starting to create this whole new story. But also this story is a little inspired by the woman who was speaking in the conversation this morning. What's her name? And I just felt from her that I was thinking about the hierarchy of systems, and I was just thinking that it's okay to close the door and do what's important to me. And because in the long run, I was so inspired by making a difference.